What happened in Nigeria yesterday isn't just another currency dispute. It's the moment the American empire's mask slipped completely off. President Trump just threatened military action against a sovereign African nation for making an economic decision about its own oil exports. Think about that for a second. We're threatening war because Nigeria dared to accept payment in currencies other than the dollar. This isn't diplomacy. This isn't even traditional coercion. This is the desperate flailing of a declining empire that can no longer distinguish between its interests and the world's interests. No, not just to our demands, but to our threats. And that no is reverberating across every continent, inspiring other nations to question why they should continue submitting to American financial dominance. This moment will be remembered as the beginning of the end for dollar hegemony. But more than that, it reveals how completely Washington has lost touch with the reality of a multipolar world where America's word is no longer law.
So how would you like the real truth? How would you like the real truth of why the United States decided to bomb places in Africa? Because what they're giving you is just bullshit, man. I've come to the conclusion that most of our media, man, is just straight bullshit, and it ain't worth even turning them on. How full have the journalists fail because they're afraid of what Trump will say about them or write about them on his Truth Social. The truth is, it was just a show of force in Africa because they want to let them know, hey, you need to get in line and you need to stay in line and do what we tell you to do. Sell us your minerals and your resources at a cheap price. The world is changing, man. That's why when I speak, I always tell y'all to get ready. Get ready for certain crashes because you can't bomb everywhere around the world and tell people, hey, I'm sorry your children died. No, they're going to be mad. They're going to come at you and say, okay, you bombed mine, now I'm finna bomb yours. That's just the way it is. Sooner or later, somebody going to get a bomb that's big enough to hit the United States. And there's no way that you're going to be able to say, hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we killed your people a few days back. If you ever notice, the United States never pick on anybody who has a chance of kicking their ass. They always pick on some weak country who doesn't have a military or who's small, doesn't have a Navy or Air Force or shit like that. It wasn't about no damn Christians and ISIS. It was about oil. I know this and you know this also, man. We can't keep going around the world stealing other people's resources because that shit sooner or later is gonna come home. Open your eyes, man, and see the truth. You know, I may not always deliver it to you exactly like you want it, but I always bring you the truth. Look around, find you a better news source because the shit we got, that's bullshit. And that's all you're going to receive from it is more bullshit.
Trump said the U.S. hit Islamic State in Nigeria because they were targeting primarily innocent Christians. But is this true? We fact-checked it. The U.S. has targeted IS in 3 different countries, Syria, Somalia, and Nigeria, in the span of 1 week. But it's only after the strike in Nigeria that Trump mentioned IS killing Christians. The U.S. military's Africa Command said the strike on Sokoto State took place in coordination with Nigerian authorities and killed multiple IS militants. But a journalist on the ground told us that one of the communities hit has never been affected by insecurity.
They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria.
The U.S. military strike comes weeks after Trump warned that Christianity faces an existential threat in Nigeria and threatened to military intervene, he says, over the failure to stop violence targeting Christian communities. After the operation, Trump posted on Truth Social that the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. So according to data, are Trump's claims of Christians primarily being targeted in Nigeria Nigeria even remotely true? Nigeria is roughly split between a Muslim population predominantly living in the north and a Christian population living in the south. Each dot on this map marks an incident of militia violence, including Islamic State, West Africa Province, and Boko Haram attacks. And the spread of dots across the map suggests that violent attacks, including forced abductions and sexual violence, are more evenly spread across Muslim and Christian areas in Nigeria. In fact, there are a higher number of attacks taking place in Muslim areas, 1,628 incidents versus 865 attacks in Christian areas, according to data from December 2025. This chart tracking attacks suggests that since 2024, the number of mosque attacks overtook attacks on churches. The figures also include abductions. And on Christmas Eve, a bomb exploded in a mosque in Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, killing at least 5 people. The data from the armed conflict location and event data monitor just doesn't support Trump's claims of Christians in Nigeria being disproportionately targeted by terrorist groups. In spite of the reality on the ground, Trump seems to be appealing to evangelical Christian supporters who've long condemned violence against Christians in Nigeria. And in November, he designated Nigeria a country of particular concern over the alleged persecution of Christians and instructed the Pentagon to prepare for possible action in Nigeria and threatened to cut U.S. aid.